Hey guys, it's draft time, but with a twist. We are very excited to show you the new way to draft, the best way to draft, and that's actually going to be with your phone. Now, Sleeper already has an app, and that's fine. We're using Sleeper for our mock like we usually do. On Sundays we do Underdog, we do a whole lot of Underdog drafts. Use that app too, but this is something different. This is something we're very excited to show you. So, we're going to be doing a mock draft still, but a little bit different. So, first things first, get in there, get in the draft, hit the link there in the comments if you want to draft with us. And after you join, instead of popping up and picking your spot like you usually do in a mock, we're going to show you why we're doing the draft a little bit differently. So, it is time to unveil the best app in all of fantasy football. And I'm not even kidding. It's called Draft Lane. So, Chris is going to model it. We're going to show you how to use it. And we're going to get this. That's right. Draft Lane hype. Exactly. It's a league. It's a mock. It's still a mock, but we're going to show you exactly how we draft using Draft Lane.
Yes. Now I randomized the draft order because we have 12 people in here. But how come I only see me on the draft board? What am I doing wrong?
Sleeper. I'm there.
Are you in the draft?
I am now. I'm in the third spot.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I just had to refresh. Okay, so there we all are. So now, just like our typical draft. But yes, so I kind of hinted at this last week. Our app, thanks to our wonderful developer Ali, Draft Lane, which we actually had this app last year, but it was just something you could use in season. But this app is going to actually, like I said, I think I hinted at this last week if you were with us. It's an algorithm that Pierre and I worked on. We over and over, right? Tested it, worked on it, said, nope, it's not drafting the way we want. Switches, worked on it, got it exactly how we want. So it uses our rankings, Sleeper's ADP, the league settings, which by the way, tonight, half PPR, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex, typical draft. And basically it will tell you if we were on the clock, if it was our team and we were on the clock, this is who we would recommend, who we would be looking at drafting. And I'm going to use it tonight for this draft so everybody can get a look. So if you want to see real quick, so all you do, so real quick, let me before we get to the draft, it'll be just bear with us. It's going to be a little slower tonight, but I want to make sure you guys see this, and don't worry, we'll still draft. So when you go into the app, you'll see a screen here. You'll see live draft pilot down there. You'll click that, and then you will just, where is it? Right there. You'll select your league, and all you got to do is put in if it's PPR, half PPR, or full P or non PPR. So since it's half PPR, I'm gonna select. Eventually, I'll get this right. I'll select the league, half PPR, and I hit continue. Oh no, we have a. Oh, and I messed up. Let me see if I forgot to have Ali unlock it for me. We may have an issue here. Let me see if he's available. Sorry, guys.
Ironing out the wrinkles, but yeah.
Well, I forgot because our developers got to unlock it for us.
Right, because it's so what happens does if you don't have the Draft Lane app, if you have it, it syncs your leagues through Sleeper or through Yahoo. So if you sign in your Yahoo, your Sleeper account, you can sync all of your fantasy football leagues, whether you have one, whether you have 5, whether you have 20, it doesn't matter. So it'll sync your leagues, and then it'll know which leagues you're drafting in. And so I think the issue, because you just made this draft or this league today, right?
Yes, and so you can see here it has standings, so you can see right there, like your standings for all your leagues, and also standings for everybody that's on the app for all their leagues as well. So it's pretty cool. So hopefully our developer, let me try calling him real quick and see.
Yeah, so it knows if you're in, like me, I got like 12. There's probably more. Like, let's say 12 leagues on Sleeper. And when you go to the draft pilot, you go on there and you can pick the little drop down box. You can pick which league you want to select for. And once your draft starts, it'll show exactly what's happening in that league, in that draft. So you're getting an assist live as you're drafting. It updates automatically. It's actually real cool if you try it. So we're gonna try to show it off. It's a little hard with the app going through the phone and
Yeah.
streaming.
So, all right. So I just talked to our developer. He's going to do it within the next 5 minutes. He's going to message me. So let's go ahead and get the draft started. I'll just pause it if he hasn't done it by the time it comes to my pick. So let's go. All right. So Stinger's on the clock with the 101. What's up, Stinger?
Stinger drafting on the phone today, he said.
Nothing wrong with that. You know, I actually think, all right, you're on the clock at the 3.
Easy.
Because we did the underdog draft on Sunday and we did the mini schnauzer with the shorter time clock. I actually really enjoyed drafting. Okay, I'm gonna pause it until it's my pick. All right, guys, bear with us for a bit here. I actually enjoyed drafting on my phone more than on my computer on underdog. I think I'm gonna actually do that now.
Yeah, it is actually a little bit easier there on the app.
Anthony's saying league is full. Anthony, I can totally relate to this. League is full. You are forcing me to go to fireworks with my wife and people. I hate people. Thanks for nothing, laugh aloud. Actually, you know what, guys? I can go ahead and I'll make this pick. This isn't really like, okay, I'll just take Jefferson. We'll go ahead and get it going. We'll use it on the rest of my picks. We don't have to use it on this pick. So we'll just keep it going here so everybody doesn't have to wait.
And there's a lot of concern here. People mentioning that it says that there's kickers and defenses in this league.
Oh, I thought I turned that off. I thought I turned that off. Let me see. I can update it if I didn't. I thought I did. Oh, you're right. Okay, let me turn them off. Did that work? Why didn't it work? Kicker.
And then save it. Should work.
All right. Should be good now.
You're never obligated to draft a kicker or defense, even if your league does use them.
Yeah. So okay, should be good. Should be good now, I think. Let me know if it's not, but I think I got it. Yeah, no kickers or defense. That would be bad for the brand. Bad for the brand.
Nope. No defense allowed. Interesting. Amal not even waiting till his turn on the way back to snipe Clayton on Marvin Harrison, getting him at the 110.
Wow.
That's some serious.
Do you think Harrison is going to be a first round pick like by late August? Do you think he's just going to be a first round pick?
No, not in most leagues because our leagues just tend to be more receiver heavy early than your typical leagues. I mean, you'll see JT, Gibbs, maybe Saquon, guys like that go first round. No, I mean, I think he's early second at the very least in most leagues, but I don't think he's usually going in the first round. What's up, Keith, on the clock? Which, by the way, Keith, I did see your trade offer. I just haven't had time to reflect on it yet. I don't know how I feel about it. What's up, Vikes for life? Brees at the 1-4. What do you think about that?
It feels a little early, but I will say in half PPR, I don't think it's as bad as maybe in full PPR, but it does feel a little early. All right, so I'll go ahead and make the pick here. Let's still waiting for the app, but don't worry, I'll get to show it off plenty.
We'll say between Bijan and Brees, I slightly lean Bijan still, but I'm okay if Brees goes before Bijan, so I don't think that's the issue. And if you want one of those running backs, you're going to have to take them there. You can't wait till the second round because all those top 5, 6, however many running backs are gone. So in full PPR, I am still taking a receiver, but I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah, don't worry, Stinger. Don't worry, guys. Anthony, Stinger, you're going to see the app in action here pretty soon. It's honestly, it's really, really great. I mean, it's so simple, and it's Yeah. I almost took a wide receiver there only because I kind of want to show like how the app, it's not just based on our rankings where it says like, oh, these are our top ranked players. No, it's actually based, like, it actually looks at the league settings, your roster, and says like, okay, based on who you've drafted so far, who's available, your league settings and all that stuff, these are the guys we would actually consider here. Not just like, hey, we have, because you could get to a point where it's like you're on the clock and we have like 5 wide receivers ranked in that range, but you don't need a wide receiver there. Like you have enough wide receivers, you know what I mean? And if you just go by rankings, it's like, well, I guess I'm taking another wide receiver or whatever. So it's really cool and looks at your league settings as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not just a list of rankings of players. Like you can get rankings anywhere. This is supposed to be a smart way to design, figure out what you need and who's the best available.
Yep. And if you happen to play in leagues with kickers and defense, it does do that as well, but it waits till the last 2 rounds. Please don't ever take a kicker or defense before the last 2 rounds.
Exactly.
And another great thing about this app, for in season, because we had this last year, I think I mentioned this last time, you can ask us all sorts of questions on there: waiver wire, start sit, trade questions. And man, we revamped the trade. It's awesome. We can actually go in. You could actually just literally say like, hey, give me some trades I can send out, and we can actually see your full roster, not to mention the roster of everybody in your league, and say like, okay, well, you need running back, and these 3 teams have extra running backs, so we suggest maybe trading this wide receiver for this, like make this offer. Really cool. Okay, he did just message me that it's good to go, so I'm going to pause it real quick while I get it set up. So like I said, you just go in, you pick the league. All you have to do is pick, is it PPR, half PPR, or non-PPR? So you can see right here. I pick our league. There's the league. I pick that it's half PPR. I hit continue. And then you're in and you get this prompt, and I'm going to make a little video explainer that you can see there. But you see here, it just says my turn. So when it's your turn, when you're actually on the clock, so I'm on the clock right now. So when I hit my turn, it goes through, and you can see right here, it says, we suggest you take the best available. So, and again, it's going to look at your roster, and there's going to be times you'll see here where it might say, we suggest QB, we suggest tight end, we suggest running back. It's going to give me the top 3 best available. And then it's down here, it gives you some more options, like to say like, hey, if you don't like those guys, we also like these guys. So then all you do from there, how do I go back? You say like, okay, well, this Debo, Achane, Laporta, I'm going to go Debo. So then in your draft, you just actually draft. Oh, I got to resume it. Let me resume the draft. So then you just go into your draft, whether it's Yahoo, ESPN, or Sleeper, and you just select Debo. And then you just wait. And then when it's your turn, when your turn comes up next, you just hit my turn again. So I'll show you again when it comes back to me. And this literally will just guide you through the draft. And again, it's not just rankings. Pierre and I spent a ton of time on this, tried it, said, nope, that's not drafting the way we want. Fix this, try this, tried all sorts of different formats. 2 wide receiver, 3 wide receiver, multiple flexes, different scoring, even super flex. We even have super flex if you're doing super flexes here. It's really incredible. Really incredible.
Yep. And Anthony, it's a good question. So the app itself doesn't pick for you. It tells you, it's a guide, right? It's telling you, here are the best players. It's reading it, but it's not writing to the system. So it'll tell you who it suggests.
Right.
But you still have to be in your actual draft on Sleeper, on Yahoo, whatever, and actually do the drafting.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't actually draft through the app. Like you can't say like, okay, draft Debo, and then it does it.
Yeah.
Maybe next year. I don't know. I don't want to put that on my developer to say he can, or on our developer to say he can do that, because I don't know if he can. But so basically, this tells you like, hey, this is who Pierre. If Pierre and I were on the clock, these are the guys we would most likely take. And I'm sure, I know Pierre's not a huge fan of Debo there, but Achane, Laporta, definitely guys I would have taken there. And then, then you still have to go. So you'll still have to have your draft open, but then you can have your, your phone, or if you draft on your phone, you'll just have to go back and forth between the two.
There you go. And Lan asking, is this, or Lon, TD leagues, it just says full PPR, half PPR, standard. It doesn't have TD only leagues.
Yeah. If you're in a, yeah, I actually know somebody who's in a touchdown only league. It does not support that, unfortunately. I mean, you can still try to use it if you want, but I don't think it's going to be accurate, because again, maybe you could use the standard setting if you really wanted to. That would probably be the closest you could get to touchdown only.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have it supporting touchdown only leagues.
Right. And then things like, IDP and stuff like that. We're not there yet. Maybe one day.
No IDP yet. Sorry. I know Keith posted something right here. He's in a 14-team league, 22 with 11 IDP players. Yeah, with no IDP.
Come on.
Oh, what happened? Says he's green. I mean, Achane at the 312. Are you kidding me? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And if there's somebody, look, and here's what we're also trying to make it smart, is, for example, let's say there's, I've gone receiver, and you think it's like, okay, you need to take a running back. But if there's a player who falls far enough below ADP, if there's a guy who's like, you got to take this value, it will tell you that. And it'll even pop up. What's the phrase? What did we put? Value pick? What was the term we used? I forgot.
Yeah, it's priority pick, I think.
Priority pick. There you go.
Yeah,
it's
so
like, look, just you don't have to take a running back. You don't have to take this guy because he's that much of a value. But it doesn't mean you have to take him. It's just the suggestion. Right. You still are in control.
Exactly. It's not drafting for you, but it's telling you who we would pick. And yeah, if I was on the clock and Achane was there, it would have said like, hey, like, let's go, team. Take Achane here.
There you go.
All right, he went to gray. It's weird because he's green. His dot is green. Maybe he must be. I wonder if he has connection issues, because he just jumped back on. I'm guessing he has connection issues.
Yeah. Other John. What's up, other John? Also a fan. That's right. Probably almost guarantee will be more helpful, not knowing your nephew, but yeah.
Wow, Sam Laporta in the 4th. This draft.
All right. And yes, dark mode.
Yes. What's up, Jimmy? Right. Dark mode for sure. Dark mode, everything.
But for those who like light mode, you can switch it.
That's right. It does have light mode if you like the light mode.
In case you're drafting in the dark. All right. So speaking of this draft, let's see where we're at. You're on deck.
All right, so I'm on the clock. I click my turn again. I wait a few seconds, and it says Jalen Hurts number 1, which I think this is very good value for Jalen Hurts. Mark Andrews number 2, and then George Pickens number 3. It says take best available here. So do I want to go QB or tight end this early? I mean, I don't know if I'm ready for Mark Andrews this early, but I'll go Jalen. Let's go Jalen Hurts this early. Who's wide receiver? And then it says also Trey McBride, Kenneth Walker, Christian Kirk. I'm going to go Jalen Hurts here.
There you go. And it said best available because you already had a running back. You had 2 receivers. It's like you can go any direction you want.
Right. So, in fact, okay, so don't draft yet, because you can't actually click the My Turn button when it's other people's turn. It'll tell you, like, who obviously you can't pick. So if I click here for Pierre, well, it still says best available because it is a 3 wide receiver league, but it'll eventually show him. But anyways, go ahead, Pierre. Make a pick.
All right, there you go. Wonder if I'm am I feeling zero RB today? Actually, no. Actually, yeah. I might as well. I've waited this long. I might as well keep waiting.
All right, goes with Pickens, which was one of the recommendations. Yeah, I don't normally go QB this early, but we talk about it actually on Friday's video. We talk about it. If I get to this point of the draft and one of the elite QBs are there and there's nobody on the board that I'm absolutely like I have to take this guy, I'm gonna take the QB. So Jalen Hurts, late fourth, late fourth, I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. Because at this point, running backs getting scarce. Yeah, since I didn't take Kenneth Walker, I might as well just go full zero RB.
And by the way, if you guys want to check out the app, it is actually live right now. It's Draft Lane. I just put it in the chat, not the link. I don't know how to link to an app, but it's Draft Lane. So if you want to go download it. So Eric's saying he would have taken McBride instead of Hurts. I'm typically, I don't think McBride. Okay, so it's my turn again. Okay, so here's a good example. So it says wide receivers needed, but there's some value. So right there you can see Mark Andrews priority pick still on the board. So you can see how it shows you. And like when I look here, so it says like Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen. Yeah, they're just okay. So let's go with Andrews. I'll take the tight end here. I'll take the tight end discount on Andrews. So Eric's saying he said he would have gone McBride over Hurts and stack him with Kyler. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Definitely not against that. But I think if I can get potentially the number one or number two QB, even though I do like McBride, I think I'm going to take the QB value over the tight end value normally. Me personally.
I'm trying to see if there's a way to share a link to an app on the App Store. I don't know if that's even a thing.
I don't know. Clayton said there's a way. These young kids. Somebody had a question. That other John. Oh, okay. Well, JSC one. Okay, this is interesting because I don't really view Mostert as a handcuff, even though he's kind of being drafted like a handcuff. But what are your thoughts on handcuffing Achane with Mostert versus Wright? Wright to me feels like more of a handcuff, but
yeah, it's not gonna be I wouldn't use the word handcuff. It's gonna be a committee thing. They're all gonna have value. I mean, Mostert and Achane both draftable. Now, are you gonna want them both on the same team? There's benefits and there's also, I mean, some problems with that. I mean, the thing is, you don't want to start them both because you're limiting your upside, right? I would rather I'm going to handcuff somebody. I would rather have it as a pure handcuff, right? Like, I think it's safe to say right now, even though people aren't really viewing it that way, like, I don't know, would you say like you view Blake Corum as like the handcuff to Kyren Williams? I think Kyren Williams is still going to be the guy. It's not going to be a 50-50 situation or something like that, right?
Yeah, I view Blake Corum as like the handcuff to Kyren Williams, yes.
Yeah, and I would love to have Blake Corum as a handcuff because something happens to Williams, you're going to have potential league winner Blake Corum. I don't want to have two backs necessarily that are in a committee on one team because they're not both going to be startable every week. You know what I mean? So I'd rather just pick one and go with it.
Yep. Although I will say this is one of those rare cases where I don't mind having Achane and Mostert because you're getting Mostert so much later. Like it's not like drafting, like what have we seen in the past where like, we've seen running backs going, both running backs going inside like say the top 5 rounds or something. Like I think maybe we saw that with like Gibbs and Monty last year, where then it's like, okay, if something happens to one of them, it's like, okay, you don't really gain a lot. In this case, I think it's still beneficial because they're so far apart. But yeah, I don't view Mostert as a handcuff. I think Mostert's going to have value from day one. John wants to know, is 4th round too high for Tank Dell?
No, that's about right.
Yeah.
That's where you should be going. In fact, you might not get Tank Dell in round 4 in some drafts, but I would rather have round 4 Tank Dell than early round 3 or even late round 2 Nico. Now, I do think Nico is going to be better than Tank, but it's not going to be a big difference.
Yeah, I think 4th round Tank Dell is great, honestly. I think it's right where you should be. What about 3rd round Cooper Kupp? You like Cooper Kupp in the 3rd?
Yeah, it does feel like the rankings are different here, right? The ADP for sleeper does feel like there's been some movement, and it's always kind of throws me off because I do so many underdog drafts, and of course, best ball is a different thing. But I'm so used to it, like I almost know them by heart. And then I look at the sleeper, I'm like, I'm not taking Cooper Kupp in the 3rd. I'm not. 4th rounds, maybe if I'm already good with at least 2 receivers, but not 3rd round.
All right, so the app is recommending. Oh, get out of there. Christian Watson here.
Wow. Okay, I considered maybe getting Anthony Richardson last round to pair with Pittman. I am surprised not only he lasted this long, but then we see Kyler and Stroud take him before him. I'm glad they jumped him.
QB's fallen in this draft for sure. And that's another thing. The app will, because this is something it's once you have a QB, it's not going to tell you like, hey, there's a value here. Get this QB. It's going to be like, no, you already have a QB or a tight end. Right. Unless, of course, it's super flex.
Right. But that's exactly what we did build that in too. So you're not going to, and this is mainly to help, not you guys who are on here necessarily as much drafting with us because you guys are always on here. But people like to take a second quarterback and they don't need to. Like to take a second tight end, and it's going to steer you away from that. Now you could still do it, but it's not going to suggest it.
Yep.
Oh man, Ramondre got taken. I didn't even realize that.
Michael Fawcett, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Jimmy's saying here's the Play Store link, but I don't see the link, Jimmy. I don't think it worked. Yeah.
Just might as well keep it going, right?
Dang, full 0 RB. You want me to tell you who the app says to take?
Yeah, as I say, who?
Actually, the app says go for it and take JSN.
JSN. I was gonna say it's either Addison or JSN. Here we go. Going JSN.
All right. Well, now I have to. So I have 3 wide receivers, a QB, and a tight end, and a running back. So I'm guessing it's going to tell me to take wide receiver because it is a 3 wide receiver league. Yes, and it does say take Addison. Worthy is second. I actually like Worthy a little bit more, so I'm going to take. And this is another cool thing about the app. It doesn't say like you have to take this guy. Like it gives you how much time do I have here? 30 seconds. Like it gives you the choices, right? So you can see here it's like Addison, Worthy, Jameson, or you can take running back, those guys down there. But I'm going to go with Worthy. I like him a little bit more than Addison.
And that's a good thing. Some people might ask, like, what if you want a 0 RB team? Is it going to tell you, hey, you don't have a running back? You have to. It won't force you to take a position. It won't, say to take a quarterback, in the first couple of rounds, because don't believe that's smart. And then if you have 3 receivers, but it's 3-receiver flex league. It's not going to say, hey, you need to take a running back. It will still let you take a receiver. Now, again, these are suggestions. It doesn't force you to do anything. But yeah, we kind of put some flexibility in for that too. Okay, he's saying just like YouTube won't allow the link to go up or something. But anyways, it's really easy to find if you look for the app. It's called Draft Lane.
Yeah, and maybe I can.
And
maybe
like
I
you
can
said,
pin it
there'll be a little
as a
tutorial
comment.
video coming up soon.
Yeah, definitely. All right, John A. Jonathan has a Dynasty Superflex question. DK Metcalf and a 2025 second, or Pittman and Jameson Williams. Ooh, interesting trade. Interesting trade.
Well, I think Jameson Williams right now is worth the second round pick. And then Pittman DK is pretty close. Give me the Pittman Williams side. I mean, I'm kind of surprisingly, it's surprising to myself, kind of slowly climbing on the Jameson Williams hype train. So I guess give me the Pittman Jameson side.
Oh, I think this is like super close. I'm not quite on the Jameson train. Pittman and DK feel very close in Dynasty. So I think it really comes down to, I think it really comes down to, are you, let me scroll this down. Are you still bought into Jameson Williams or not? If you're still bought into Jameson Williams, then I think you got to take the Pittman, Jameson side. I don't even know. Is there a big age difference between is there even an age difference? DK Metcalf turns 27 this year. Wow, that's crazy. That doesn't seem that old. Michael Pittman turns 27 in October, so you're not getting an age discount. So yeah, I think DK and Pittman are very, very even, very close in Dynasty. I might slightly prefer Pittman, just because of Anthony Richardson, assuming Anthony Richardson, of course, doesn't continually get hurt. So I think it comes down to, do you believe in Jameson Williams or not? If you believe in Jameson Williams, you take the Pittman Jameson side. If you don't, you take the DK in the second. I think this is very, very, very fair. Very close.
Oh, yeah. It's very close. That's what it comes down to is, do you want Jameson Williams or not? Or would you rather take a gamble on a second-round pick? Yeah, for me, take Williams. And the fair question. So what did he do last season that he deserved to be going, let's say, 7th round this year, wherever he's going? It's not about what he did last season. It's what is he going to do this season? That's the idea. Now, he might not take a leap forward this season. He might not do more than last season. It's possible. But remember, last season, he didn't even play the first month because that's suspension, and then kind of got eased in things. But everything we've heard, and I'm not just talking like typical coach speak and hype and whatever, they have no reason that they need to hype him up, right? This isn't like Quentin Johnson, who was legitimately the most horrible receiver, like rookie receiver ever. And then they're like, well, we got big plans for him. Yeah, of course. You have to plan for him because you don't have anything else. But Jameson Williams is supposedly now kind of turned a corner, right? He's actually looking like he's learned the playbook, figured out the speed of the game, got his head on straight. So I'll buy into it.
Yeah. And so speaking of going back, yes. I'm not 100% off of Jameson Williams. I wasn't as high on Jameson Williams as a lot of people as a prospect. But at the same time, I also understand that, hey, there is a path here for this guy, and he's talented enough, right? That if the Lions do make a concerted effort this year, so it's saying Dotson, Shaheed, or Brandon Cooks here. I'm going to go with Shaheed. He's one of my favorite later round wide receivers. So I'm going full on anchor RB, which I totally love, especially in a 3 wide receiver league. So if the Lions do make a concerted effort to get him more involved, the potential is certainly there for him for sure. It's not like, I'm completely out on Jameson.
Yeah, it's worth it to me. And I don't go crazy for non-first round rookie picks, anyways, because a lot of those guys wind up being, dice rolls, anyways. This, which by the way, that's didn't recognize that's Stinger.
Yeah,
Just
Stinger
switched it up
mid draft. Mid draft, changed up his username.
All right, you have to get used to that.
As long as it still says Stinger, we'll know who it is. And does he still have? Is that Odell Beckham or is that Nico Collins? I think that's Nico Collins now.
Huh.
Wait a minute.
It looks like a
Sensing a
giant
trend here. He used to have the Odell Beckham one, who also wore number 13. Now he's on. Is Nico 12 or 13 actually? Nico
is 12.
Okay, never mind. But he did also really like Darnell Mooney, who's 11. So it's 11, 12, 13. I don't know. Maybe there's something there. Maybe not. I don't know.
Something.
Maybe not. All right. So, okay, now it's recommending running back based on my draft because I have I think 5 wide receivers, a QB, a tight end. So now it's saying, okay, go running back. It's saying Gus Edwards, Devin Singletary, Chase Brown. I love all those guys. I'm going Gus Bus here. Let's chase that touchdown upside with Gus.
There you go. It's easy. And again, all you do is you just tap, this is my turn, just touch it and it refreshes. And it's like, here you go. Here's who you should draft.
Yeah, literally just, you can see right here, I just clicked that my turn button. That's all you do. And it gives you the list of players. I mean, it is like, honestly, this is something I was like, man, this would be so cool to have this, but I just didn't even think it was possible. And then like Ali, who is our developer, who I think's on the stream right now. What's up, Ali? Came to us. He just came to us last year out of the blue and said, hey, I have this idea for an app and I want to, build it and you guys be the experts. And then this year we were just meeting to go over the updates to the app. And I mentioned what I was doing this and he's like, oh yeah, we can do that. I was like, what? We can actually do that?
That's what I love in everything. I was like, well, what if we did this? He's like, oh yeah, that's easy. It's like, man.
Yeah. He's been awesome. And so hopefully everybody drafts phenomenal teams this year.
Yep.
Using the app. That is the goal.
That's the goal. We could do this practice and we will. Trust me, we'll continue to mock because just drafting itself is fun, right? We continue to practice and talk and tell you the players you like, don't like. But just to have it with you while you're drafting, that's something we can't always do, right? Can't always be in everyone's ears, between him and him, take it.
It's definitely hard to do that during a draft because you only have so much time. All right, Justin Herbert wants to know who a late round pick that could be drafted in the top 3 rounds next year. So kind of like Nico, it's not very often you get a guy like Nico who, or even actually, man, we had a few of those guys last year. We had Nico, we had Kyron, who wasn't even really drafted, Puka, who wasn't drafted. What a weird year 2023 was. How often do we get guys that are late round picks or undrafted suddenly become first or second rounders the next year, top 3 rounds next year? So probably not going to happen this year, but if it does, who would you pick?
There's always somebody, right? Somebody who comes out of nowhere. I will say it's probably going to be somebody who is in a high-profile offense that gets a shot. I mean, think about it. The whole buzz behind Ricky Pearsall, San Francisco, is either Ayuk or Debo. One of them has got to go. Well, maybe not this year, but one of them is going to go next year, you would think, right? And that's why they drafted him. So next year, we could see Ricky Pearsall as a stud. Now, I don't know if he'll do enough this year to be a top 3 round pick next year, but he's a guy that could definitely, kind of vault up the rankings. I would say it's possible. Not that I'm hoping for it, but Raheem Mostert getting older, not really going to be as dependable. Achane, who knows? What about Jalen Wright? Maybe he's this year's Devon Achane, right? Devon Achane was an afterthought last year. Now he's the top 3 round pick. So it would make sense. A Mike McDaniel running back, I think it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I was going to actually say, Clayton says Jonathan Brooks, because I think Jonathan Brooks in a lot of drafts will go later. But I was also going to say Trey Benson, because Trey Benson goes, he just went in the 10th round here. And I think we could see Trey Benson as the season goes on, work in and show what he can do. And then next year, we could be going into the next year with James Conner gone and Trey Benson being the RB1 for the Arizona Cardinals with, Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison, like in this great offense. So I definitely think him. I think there's some other like Kimani Vidal. What if J.K. Dobbins struggles off of Achilles? He will. What if Gus Bus is just like okay this year and Vidal takes over that backfield and is catching passes? Like I could see guys like that too for sure.
Yep, exactly.
What about Jermaine Burton? If let's say Jermaine Burton carves out a role for himself, has some nice games. I mean, I don't know if he could be top 3 round, but then T. Higgins really does leave next year in free agency, and Jermaine Burton's going to be the wide receiver 2 in Cincinnati.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe not top 3 rounds, but he'll for sure be an earlier pick. Maybe 4th, 5th round, kind of where T. Higgins is going now. All right.
So I'm gonna show it again here so you can see I'm up. Where is it here? My turn. So I click my turn. It does this little thing, and then it shows you the players right there. So Devin Singletary and Chase Brown still on the board here. Wow. I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm gonna go. Ooh, who do I like more?
Notice it's not suggesting Nick Chubb. Interesting.
No Nick Chubb. It also likes Tyjae Spears and Kendra Miller here, but I think I'm going to go. I think for my team, I'm going to go Singletary. I'm going to take the guy that I know is going to get the volume early on. With Singletary. It's close between him and Chase Brown, though, for sure.
Well, I'll go Spears.
And then Jonathan, a good question here. I think this is a very good question. Who do you normally like? Like, what position do you normally like to have in the flex between running back or wide receiver?
Well, depends on the format. If it's full PPR receiver, if it's non PPR, probably a running back, and if it's half, I mean, still mostly receiver. Now he's asking specifically of these players, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like mostly receiver, but I think if you have like. Even though I'm not as high on Etienne as everybody else is this year, I think Etienne is still at least a tier above Hollywood, if not 2 tiers. So I think in this case, I would go Etienne.
Yeah, I think so. It's just more steady production in terms of points. Hollywood definitely worth flexing. JMO's look, I like his upside, but a little too risky. He's not a guy you necessarily want to start week in, week out just yet.
Right.
All right, then let's see. You got the 5th pick in a half PPR league. Okay, so you have the 5th pick, and this is a half PPR league. You took Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Jefferson.
Now he's asking Hall, Chase, or Bijan.
I know most people are going to default to Chase, and I don't think there's anything wrong with Chase. But I think if it's me in a half PPR, I'm going with one of the running backs. And again, I'm going to put Breece just a minuscule amount ahead of Bijan. But if you want Bijan, I think he's just as good too. So, all right. So suggesting wide receiver, I'm gonna go here. Guy, I don't think I need him. Let's go with Moon here. Let's go with Mooney. This is nice. I don't even have to think about who I'm drafting. I just hit the button and I go, okay, this guy. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Breece there. But again, I think any of these guys, like you should be good with any of these guys, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I hate to say it doesn't matter. Like they're all good picks, of course. But if it's me, I'm on the clock. I'm taking Bijan. Again, him and Hall, it's razor things, kind of just a preference here. I like Bijan. I think I'd rather get in a half PPR league that running back over Chase. Now, if Justin Jefferson was still on the board and half PPR, would you take Hall over Jefferson, or you're taking Jefferson?
No, I'll take Jefferson over all of them. I think Jefferson, just too good. Too good.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I guess he's assuming if these guys are all available, then maybe Jefferson's not out there. But yeah, very close. Clayton, I did sort of think about this. Javon Baker.
Yeah, Javon Baker's interesting. I think for him to become top 3 next year, though, like he would have to, like Drake May, I think would have to get playing time at some point this season and look like a franchise QB, right?
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Because regardless of how good a player looks, a receiver, if people aren't confident in the quarterback play, it's not going to get that boost. You know what I mean? So, everything would have to break right for New England. They would have to have their franchise quarterback look like a franchise quarterback, and of course Baker looking like an alpha receiver. So it's possible. I mean, if you're a believer in Drake May, Clayton, you can take whoever you want and with your last pick. This is still a mock.
Yes. How many rounds do we have in this, by the way? Oh, 2 more rounds.
Yeah.
Since I got rid of kicker and defense.
He's gonna take. Who's he gonna take? He's gonna take Johnny Manziel.
No, I think I know he's gonna take. Maybe not though. You never know with Clayton. You never know with Clayton.
No.
Clayton has his guys and he will take them.
Like Kamani Vidal, who he just took.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Good pick. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't thinking of a wide receiver, so okay, I'm wrong there.
Kill me.
All right, so based on your draft, we strongly suggest running back Rico Dowdle, Damian Pierce, Nick Chubb, but I'm not taking Nick Chubb. Let's gamble on Rico being significantly better than Zeke this year. Wide receiver. Oh, maybe from the AFC North. Is he still? Maybe. I don't want to say the name because I don't want to spoil it if I'm right and then somebody else takes him. Although you said a deep sleeper. Maybe him. Maybe him. I could see him. I'm just saying that, and then whoever you pick, I'm like, that's the guy I said. You guys will never know if I'm lying or not.
Yeah, you'll be right no matter what.
It's like a psychic. Like, oh, I'm sensing something like the letter R, the letter S. Like, oh, my cousin Steve. Yeah, yes, that's it, Steve. Right?
Exactly what you just said. It was exactly what I was thinking. Equal another question. Half PPR feel like second round running backs are better than the receivers.
I don't know, because it depends. I mean, you never know how your league is gonna go, but like,
I mean, you're listening like Pacheco there. He's not going in the second round in most leagues. Kyron probably is, although we've seen him drop, but yeah, probably. I think there's more volatility. There's obviously none of those guys are sure things. Olave, I think we're pretty sure we'll get something comparable to last year, hopefully better. Adams, I feel pretty safe about. Ayuk is so good. London is, I don't think he's really risky necessarily, but here's the thing in general, just in general, I like receivers better than running backs early because those running backs do all have some risk.
Yeah, I think I like all those wide receivers over those running backs, except maybe Kyron. Kyron's the one guy you could probably talk me into, but I like all those wide receivers over those running backs except for Adams, honestly. But I don't think it's like a massive like if somebody said like, "Hey, I like Etienne more than Olave," okay, fine. I mean, I don't, but okay. Like I'm not. It's not like it's not like somebody's saying like I like David Montgomery more than Olave or something like that. So yeah, I think it's fine. And it is half PPR, which does help wide receiver like running backs a little bit. It's not a huge difference, but a little bit. All right, last pick here. All right, let's go. Let's go with my guy. I like Bateman, but I think I like this guy more. Malachi Corley, and that kind of segues into this. Somebody just asked about him. Jonathan picked up Malachi Corley on waivers. Is this a dynasty league? Is he worth the stash in PPR? Yeah, if it's dynasty, because you did have a dynasty question. I mean, definitely worth the stash. How is he not on a roster?
I was gonna say, if it's dynasty, he should have been drafted. Yeah, worth a stash. I mean, we'll see what he does. I'm not all over Malachi Corley. I'm not necessarily all over this Jets passing offense in general, but yeah, it's worth a stash. What's up, Brian? Didn't get a notification. It happens.
And Brian, I didn't message you the link tonight because we did it a little different. We actually created a league to show off the app. So it was a little different. It wasn't a typical mock. And then I don't think I'm going to guess it, Clayton, because I think people know the guy that I was going to guess. So I don't know.
We see is a receiver from the AFC North.
Yeah. I was thinking Devontae Walker from the Ravens, but I think people know him. I don't think people are completely off.
Van Jefferson.
Van Jefferson. Wow. That would be a surprise. That would be a surprise. What team is Van Jefferson even on now?
I think he's with the Steelers. Arthur Smith brought him over. Oh,
Rash of the Brown. I definitely would not have guessed that. Okay. All right.
Not have guessed that. I heard the name. He was like a late pick.
Yeah. It was not the guy I was thinking of.
All right. Well, no money for us. I will say this. Well, first of all, I think the Elijah Moore hype can finally die forever. Yeah. Second of all, Cedric Tillman apparently is going to be a starter on the outside now.
That's what we're hearing. That's what we're hearing with Judy in the slot.
Cedric Tillman deserve hype or no?
Hype? I don't know about hype, but I mean, look, if you're in a dynasty league, I think like you should definitely probably have Cedric Tillman on your roster. I mean, assuming he's on waiver wire. Don't go like just don't try to get Cedric Tillman. I'm not saying like he should be on a roster on some team in your dynasty league.
Must add trade for him.
Yeah.
All right, last pick.
You get an auto for the last. All right, there we go.
Okay. So let's break down these teams real quick. Did a different type of mock. Really not that different. But with the assist from the app, Draft Lane, we already know who the best team is going to be. But before we get to Chris's, let's start with Stinger 101 at the 1.01. And don't be confused. Which, by the way, he clarified. Not only that he always somehow winds up getting Nick Chubb, but this is Stinger's thing. He said he's got Odell Beckham here and Nico Collins on sleeper. That's the confusion here.
All right,
Stinger. With CMC, Nico Collins, of course. Devontae Adams, Kelsey, Terry McLaurin, Swift, Rashee Rice, A.D. Mitchell, Curtis Samuel, Jordan Love, Chase Brown, Roman Wilson, and of course, Nick Chubb.
Yeah, so I keep saying it. And in fact, I'm going to have a video on Sunday talking about this exact thing. If I have the 101 and I get Christian McCaffrey, then yeah, I'm basically punting my RB2. Now I know you took Swift in the 6th, but you could have easily taken Rice in the 6th and Swift in the 7th, which to me is like a punt for RB2. So I love that. You get CMC, you load up other positions, you get Nico Adams. Not my favorite there, but it's fine. I mean, Adams, I get okay, fine. Terry, Rice, Mitchell, Samuel, Roman Wilson. So you load up wide receiver. You get Kelsey. I think that's a good value for Kelsey at the end of the 4th. Good value. You still get Swift. You get Chase Brown, Nick Chubb. Yeah, okay, Nick Chubb, whatever. Last pick. This is how you do it. Good team, Stinger. Good team.
Good team. Very good core. Obviously, a ton of upside at receiver. And yeah, I totally agree with the anchor strategy with CMC at the 1-1. Just RB2, definitely living on the edge there. Swift, we'll see. Chase Brown, I like him, but we'll see if you want to start him every week. So risky at the RB position in terms of depth, but you should probably make up for it with all your other positions. All right, Lizard King, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore, Kenneth Walker, T. Higgins, Evan Ingram, Zeus Pollard, Burrow, Khalil Shakir, Cooks, Damian Pierce, and JD at the end.
I mean, first 3 wide receivers really good. I think DJ Moore, I don't love him this year, but as your wide receiver 3, totally fine. T. Higgins as your wide receiver 4 flex, totally fine. Walker, White, Pollard, fine for waiting on running back. Burrow, Shakir, Cooks. I think the only thing I would change the 2 things I would change, I probably wouldn't take Jaden Daniels if I have Burrow personally, but I don't know. Maybe you're worried about Burrow getting hurt, but I know people are worried about Daniels getting hurt too. But actually, you know what? Now that I look at it, I was going to say maybe, you know what? I think that's what I would have changed. Instead of a second quarterback, I would have gone with one more running back probably because, you did wait till round 4 for your first running back. So I probably would have, instead of a second quarterback, I would have gone with one more running back. But I mean, other than that, there's a lot of names on this team I like. So I think another very good team here.
Yeah, very good. I mean, I like all the values here. Personally, I don't love depending on the Burrow T. Higgins stack, but if that pays off, then this team is going to be a contender. All right, I went full 0 RB. I'll tell you, I was tempted because I could have got Waddle on the way back and then finished off in round 3 with Achane. I could have just gone pure Dolphin build, but didn't do it. Went with Tyreek Hill, Pittman, Devontae Smith, Pickens, Dalton Kincaid, Richardson, JSN, and then my running backs are B-Rob Moss, Spears, Charbonnet, Julian McLaughlin, and Bucky Irving. So, you like to build?
Yeah, I mean, obviously great at wide receiver. Tyreek Hill, Michael Pittman, Devontae Smith, George Pickens is your wide receiver 4 flex, JSN is your wide receiver 5, which the app recommended. Love that. Getting Kincaid, obviously Anthony Richardson. I mean, what are we doing? Anthony Richardson in the 6th round. That's crazy good. And then look, I mean, yeah, your running backs are not the best, but I mean, that's how it's going to be in 0 RB. But for waiting for round 8, I mean, Brian Robinson, Zach Moss, Tyjae Spears, Zach Charbonnet. Got a couple handcuffs that could be slightly more than handcuffs with McLaughlin and Irving. I mean, that's well done. This is probably my favorite team so far.
All right. Not too surprising. 0 RB build here, but I like at least the fact they got RBs that are getting consistent touches. So yeah, I was pretty pleased. All right, then Vikes for Life went with 2 running backs, Brees and Derrick Henry, then Malik Neighbors, McBride, Kirk, Kyler, McConkey, Najee Harris, Lockett, Troy Franklin, QJ, JK, and Justin Herbert.
All right, went RB, which I don't mind, especially when you get Brees and Henry. I think so. Here's what I'll say. So you went RB, which is totally fine. You grab Neighbors, not my cup of tea, but if he's your guy, fine. You got McBride is good value there. You got Kirk, you got Kyler, McConkey. I mean, honestly, your wide receivers for waiting and still getting tight end and running back or QB aren't bad until you get to Lockett, Franklin, and Quentin Johnston. Like, I probably would not have gone Najee there because you're expecting Hall and Henry to carry you. I probably would have gone with another wide receiver there. Personally, and then grabbed another running back over one of Lockett, Franklin, or QJ. So I don't know. I think, I will say for going running back, I don't necessarily hate your wide receivers. I don't love your flex though. Like, I don't love your wide receiver 4+.
Yeah, well, it's a little risky. I think to me, it's just I'm not taking Neighbors that early. I don't want him as my number 1 receiver. Hey, if he pays off, you're fine. I do love that Kyler McBride stack, though. I've got a lot of that. All right, Chris. The official Draft Lane team used the app. Let's see how it turned out. Justin Jefferson, Kyron Williams, Debo, Jalen Hurts, Mark Andrews, Christian Watson, Xavier Worthy, Rashid Shaheed, Gus Edwards, Singletary, Mooney, Dowdle, and Malachi Corley. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, this is the best team I've ever drafted. Obviously, any draft you do, you're at the mercy of who's been picked and who's on the board. And when you go QB tight end in rounds 4 or 5, you're obviously saying, okay, I'm going to sacrifice value at other spots. But that being said, for going QB and tight end in rounds 4 and 5, which I don't usually do, I still really love this team. I mean, Jefferson, Debo, Christian Watson, Xavier Worthy, Rashid Shaheed, like all sorts of upside at wide receiver. Kyron is my anchor, and I still got Gus, Devin Singletary, and Rico Dowdle. Maybe looking at it now, if I maybe grab one more running back late, since I did go anchor, so maybe didn't need like Mooney and Malachi Corley. But I think for taking QB and tight end in rounds 4 and 5, I still really love my wide receivers and running backs, honestly.
Yeah, like you said, oozing with upside. You got top quarterback, one of the best tight ends. It's nice and balanced, but you still are able to go with that anchor RB. Yeah, this is just rock solid. Like I said, maybe instead of Mooney, could have gone like Kendre Miller or somebody like that, but still, overall, this might be my favorite team too. Tony at the 6 went with Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, Pacheco, DK, Godwin, Keenan, Kittle, Hopkins, then Jerome Ford, Corum, Kendre Miller, Marshawn Lloyd, and Tua. This is an anchor team with Pacheco. How do you like that?
I don't mind anchoring with Pacheco. I'm super high on Pacheco. It's obviously risky, but I mean, I like Pacheco a lot. I like these wide receivers. I mean, Evans feels early in the mid-second, but I like him, so okay. DK feels like good value. Godwin, I like. Keenan Allen in the 6, that's great value. Kittle, I do think finally Kittle is finally a value at tight end. If you watched our video today, you know how I feel about D-Hop. We'll move on from that. I like your backup running backs here. Ford, Corum, Kendre, Lloyd, like them all. Tua as your last round quarterback is good. So, yeah, another, man, I don't think I've really seen a team I don't like so far. What's going on here?
Yeah, actually, I love this team. These are running backs I'll love to get late. Ford, Corum, Kendre, and Lloyd. I was disappointed I didn't get him. Tua, the last round. Kittle, yeah, this is maybe my new favorite team. Well done, especially stuck in the middle there at number 6. All right, but then there's Twisted Bliss. Always makes smart drafts. Okay, you got Sun God and Ayuk, Josh Allen, James Cook, Hollywood, Ramondre, Addison, Javonte Williams, Goddard, Josh Towns, Demar Douglas, Chuba, and Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah, St. Brown, Ayuk, a great start. I mean, Josh Allen there, I think, is fine. Maybe with hindsight, knowing like Jalen Hurts went at the 4.8, Anthony Richardson went at the 6.10, maybe you could have waited on QB, but there's nothing wrong with Jalen Hurts at the 3.7. Cook and Stevenson is your RBs, is very good. Hollywood, Addison, Javonte, Goddard is your later round tight end. Downs, Douglas, Chuba, Demarcus Robinson. Again, I mean, am I crazy here? Am I just too high on everything tonight or what? I don't know. Like, I like this team a lot too. This feels like if this was a real league, it would be hard to say who like the best team is going to be.
Well, you know why? It's because some very smart people in this league.
True.
We have guys who are with us all the time. Yeah, everyone knows what they're doing by now. And just wait till draft season. I like this team too. There's nothing I can look and say I wouldn't do that myself. Yeah, I really can't say anything bad about it. I hate to say. Will that change with Keith? Doubtful. Keith knows what he's doing. Garrett Wilson, Olave, Etienne, Lamar, Amari Cooper, Kamara, J-Mo, and then there's Mostert, Dotson, Michael Wilson, Zeke, Ty Chandler, and Luke Musgrave.
And he says he's going to draft Joe Biden to go with his old running backs.
Yeah, they're experienced.
So we definitely have a Garrett Wilson truther. Garrett Wilson at the 8. That's the earliest we see him go, but I like Garrett Wilson. Olave, Etienne, Lamar, Cooper, Kamara, Jamo, Mostert, Dotson, Wilson. Yeah, I mean, again, another team. You got Etienne, Kamara, Mostert, Zeke, and Chandler. Solid at running back, if not a little old. Wilson, Olave, Cooper, Jamo, Dotson, Wilson. Again, Michael Wilson. Yeah, not the strongest in flex. guess. I mean, I guess you could be flexing Mostert here. It's half PPR. Musgrave is a late round tight end is great. So yeah, another team like not a lot of holes in it. Not a lot of things I see here where I think like, ooh, that's that team needs work. Another good team. I mean, there's got to be some teams in here where it's like, okay, this is why. Because right, it's really weird. You get 12 good, but maybe we just have 12 good teams. We'll see tonight.
Well, it remains to be seen. I love that Musgrave pick last. A lot of players I like here. The only thing I will say is, and I'm kind of surprised. Again, being a New England guy, I would have taken Ramondre over Kamara, or Zamir over Kamara. And I would rather take a young running back like a Lloyd or a Vidal instead of Zeke. But other than that, still good. And then Clayton, it's like we don't even know who you are anymore. No Ayuk, no Marvin Harrison, no McBride. Like, is this even you? That's because everyone takes your guys, right? All right, you got Bijan and Barkley, so another early RB team. Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell, Jaden Reed, Roma Dunze, Jonathan Brooks, Cortland Sutton, Dak, Wicks, Bowers, Vidal, and of course the deep sleeper here that is no longer a sleeper because you told everybody about Jamari Thrash.
Right. Bijan at the 9 is fantastic. Bijan Barkley is a great start. I don't know if I want Kupp as my wide receiver 1. I don't know who else you would have taken there. I'd probably go Zay over Kupp. I don't know if I feel necessarily great about Zay as my wide receiver 1 either, but when you wait that long, that's how it is. Kupp, Dell, Reed, Odunze, Sutton, Wicks. This wide receiver room, not that I necessarily dislike these guys. This wide receiver room just feels okay. I know Brooks is your guy. Maybe if you could have gone with like another upside wide receiver there, and then instead of Sutton, maybe gone with somebody. I mean, you got great value on Dak for sure. Dak's got to be the most undervalued, disrespected player in fantasy right now. I like Vidal, of course. So yeah, this might be the first. Like, not that I think this team is bad, but obviously Bijan Barkley, fantastic. The wide receivers just feel okay. I think I would like some more upside maybe later. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, Kupp. I know it doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy to think of Kupp as my number 1 receiver this year. That it's just you're gonna need him to come through. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. And honestly, I'm backing off a little bit on Roma Dunze, great player. I just don't know if the targets are gonna be there necessarily. Yeah. I think I'm taking Keenan Allen in Chicago before Dunze. So the receivers, like you said, I don't think I have the most upside. It's very solid. But yeah, that's the only thing. I'm all with Marvin Harrison and Drake London, and then Jacobs, Laporta, and then Mixon, Deontay Johnson, Connor and Monty, Josh Palmer, Xavier Leggett, Brock Purdy, Jermaine Burton, Rashad Bateman. What do you think about the flex situation here?
Yeah, so probably going to be flexing James Conner, which I think is fine in half PPR, or Monty, which I think is fine in PPR. Jacobs, Mixon, RB1, RB2 should be fine. Connor, Monty is your flex, should be fine. I know, man, Laporta in the 4th, that's great. Harrison, London, that's good. Deontay as your wide receiver 3 is great. So Palmer, Leggett, Burton. Bench, obviously risky. Yeah, I don't know. This is another team. I don't know. I think I'm starting to see why I like the first 8 teams so much.
Yeah.
I don't think this team is bad by any stretch, but it just doesn't feel like it's as good as the other ones for some reason.
I know exactly what you mean. Like Palmer, okay, good late pick. Then I'm like, oh, he's your number 4 receiver. You kind of either have to flex him or you have to flex a running back, which you might be flexing Connor / Monty most of the year. But yeah, it just gets a little risky there. Leggett's not my favorite. So I like the front half of this draft, but it's just definitely riskier. And then, like you said, some of the first several teams were more loaded, I think. And then at 11, we got Ruben with AJB, JT, Zay Flowers, Rashad White, Calvin Ridley, CJ Stroud, Jake Ferguson. who seems to be going earlier and earlier every draft. Aaron Jones, Romeo Dobbs, Jacoby Myers, Eckler, Njoku, and then Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, again, I mean, A.J. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, great start. Great start. Flowers, fine there because he's probably the guy. I mean, when I'm looking at the wide receivers on the board, he's probably the guy. Maybe DK Metcalf, maybe Tank Dell, so totally fine there. I don't know if in a 3 wide receiver league, I'm going Rachaad White there. I probably would have liked it better. Like, think about this team with like A.J. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Zay Flowers, Tank Dell, Calvin Ridley, C.J. Stroud, Jake Ferguson, Aaron Jones, and then maybe Trey Benson or Jalen Warren. I'm just trying to think of another running back over Dobbs or Myers. I probably like this team a little bit more. So, yeah, I just think like White is your because Ridley's your wide receiver 3 now, and then you're flexing Aaron Jones, who I don't really like this year, Dobbs, Myers, Eckler. Like, that flex is going to be tough for you. You did get great value on Stroud, and I do really like Ferguson. And again, I really like the first 3 picks. I just think White there, if you could have gone with like another upside wide receiver, Tank Dell, DK Metcalf as your wide receiver 3 would have been great, I think, or Tank Dell. So, yeah, that's what I would have changed.
Yeah, exactly. I actually like the first half of this draft a lot. And I'm okay with Ridley as your number 3 receiver, but then you keep looking down, like, okay, you got your QB, you got your tight end, good. But then it's like, okay, who's your flex? So that's the only thing, the flex situation. But I think there was some smart value picks here. Overall, it's very solid. Just need one of those late round picks to come through. But yeah, the late round picks are more floor than ceiling. They're, less exciting veteran types. And then, last but not least, Push Enterprise, Jahmyr Gibbs, Puka, Achane, Mahomes, Diggs, Pitts, Brian Thomas, Keon Coleman, Jalen Warren, Trey Benson, Mike Williams, Caleb Williams, and then Hawkins.
All right, just right off the bat, I'm going to say when you draft Patrick Mahomes, you don't need Caleb Williams. Not a huge deal, but yeah, you don't need Caleb Williams. I am not opposed to drafting Hawkinson late if you have Pitts because we like Pitts, but we also understand that Pitts is very risky. So if Pitts struggles, at least you have the hope that maybe Hawkinson comes back second half and can save your fantasy team. So I'm not opposed to that one. Gibbs, Puka, another fantastic. Puka in the second round. Well, I think that's going to be the first time we've seen that. Fantastic. Achane at the end of the third, great value. Now, I do think you autoed Mahomes, so not that it's a bad pick. I don't know if you would have picked Mahomes there. Look, I'm not high on Diggs, but Diggs in the 5th is fine. But here's my issue now. I do like Pitts, but I don't think I would have gone Pitts there again. Need wide receiver because now your wide receiver 3, 4, 5. Your wide receiver 3 is a rookie. Your wide receiver 4 is a rookie. Your wide receiver 5 is a 30-year-old wide receiver coming off of ACL. So I probably would have just liked to seen another wide receiver like Deontay Johnson, Keenan Allen, still on the board there. Over Pitts, and then just get a tight end later. Like you could have gotten a Bowers or an Njoku or a Musgrave or whoever. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm ambivalent about this draft. I mean, it's not like I dislike it overall. Yeah, just Diggs is not a guy I want if I don't have to. I think Brian Thomas is fine there. Good value. Keon Coleman's it's not a bad, where you got him is fine. It's just not my favorite player. So these aren't all my favorites. So you really need Achane to come through here and Gibbs, to be honest. So a lot of upside. I do like that. There were some calculated risks here, and there's nothing wrong with that. So we'll just see how it pans out. All right. Well, one thing I know is that no matter what, PPR, half, standard, no matter when you draft, where you draft, try Draft Lane. So check it out, guys. It's not just the draft pilot. That's only part of it. There's a lot more on there. So it's basically like having us at your disposal around the clock. So definitely check it out. We'll do more talking about that throughout the off seasons. Very excited about that. Of course, we'll draft again next week. We'll do Underdog again in the coming days. So check it out. Hit the notifications if you haven't already, so you know as soon as we go live, and then check all the videos that are still coming out every week. All right, guys, appreciate you. See you next time.